do my part fully.
Yeah, I can make out you're traveling.
Yeah. Arun doesn't need any introduction now, at least for you, esteemed crowd. So I will either hand over the floor to Mr. Arun. Mr. Arun will take over and he will explain what is going to happen next.
You're already there.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening,
Good evening,
Arunji.
Good evening, sir.
It's very nice to have you all this evening with me. Okay, now my only request is I would request everyone to switch off your audio as well as video because the bandwidth is very poor. I can see here. Please switch off your video also so that we don't have any transmission problem. Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Mr. Guru Rajan, can you please switch off your video if you don't mind, because your bandwidth is very poor. I can see here.
Okay.
And keep yourself muted. And wherever there is a requirement for an interaction, I will request you. You can unmute and then we can discuss. And then you can mute yourself back. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome once more. You see, this program initially was intended to be a Q&A session. Mr. Gururajan, please close your video if you don't mind.
1 minute, sir. 1 minute, sir.
This was initially planned to be a Q&A based upon your experience of whatever you have implemented in the last 21, 22 days. I had discussion with, please mute yourself, all of you. Yeah. I have been discussing with quite a few of you over the last 3 weeks about your experience with implementing employee engagement in your organization. I'm very happy to say that most of you have tried to at least, implement some of the ideas with your team members and with your organization, and I got a lot of queries. From these queries, I could understand a few things. Based on that, I thought that instead of, trying to answer those queries initially, I will try to explain a few things as a program. And then at the end of this 1 hour, 1 hour, 15 minutes, whatever duration the program is, we can take questions. This will help you to understand it a bit more better and in greater detail. Let me start. You see, we all know that the state of employee engagement across the globe and also in our country is very, very bad. Just 16% of the employees are fully engaged and 84% are just coming to the office. That means what? 1 out of every 6 employees is only engaged and 5 of them are not really engaged. What is engagement? We saw that engagement is the voluntary emotional commitment towards the growth of the organization. While motivation is an internal thing, where the person is concentrating on his personal growth, engagement is a person's commitment towards the growth of the organization. And only this can take an organization forward. With this sort of a condition being prevalent in nearly all companies, 84% of the employees not being engaged is a sweeping statement, but unfortunately it is true for 99.99 reckoning % of the companies. With this being the case, we had done this 4-day program And I should say that I was extremely happy with the type of participation, enthusiasm, and acceptance of the concepts of the program. Then why is it that it could not be implemented fully? What is stopping us from implementing it? You know, when I was looking at it, and I tried to understand by talking to the people, I found that there were 5 major reasons which came out as to why what we had seen could not be implemented fully. Let us go through those reasons one by one. The first thing is, what was there in the mind of most people was, should I implement this on all members of my company, my team, or just on a few? Very logical question. There are companies with just say, 10 people working. There are companies with 300, 400. There are companies with a few, maybe 1,000 odd people. Now, the question which was there in the mind of all the people was, on how many should I implement? Should I go and rush and do it with everyone? And there was a lacuna, because this as a concept was something which was being spoken of for the first time possibly in this atmosphere. Given the condition of COVID, asking someone to drastically relook at the way the company is being run is also a very difficult thing to digest. The second was the pressure of return on investment. Already you see COVID had created a situation where returns were very, very poor. Number of people attending office was less. Customers were hesitant to engage with the principles for business. Under these conditions, the return on investment pressure was very high. So automatically, trying to implement employee engagement in the organization, there was an obstacle to that. The third thing is the fear of uncertainty. Some of the people were uncertain as to what the outcome would be. Should we try it now or should we try it later? So you see, there was a hesitancy in that. Fourth is one of the biggest reasons for why a person does not try something. Why a person does not try something new, the biggest reason is past success. You are all business leaders. You have all been very successful in your career, and you have started companies only because you were successful wherever you were earlier, or that you come from a family doing business and the business is successful. That's why you could take over. Under those circumstances, it is but natural that you should try to step on an already tested path rather than take a new path. Oftentimes, past success becomes the biggest hurdle to overcome in trying something new. And then there is always the time-old reason. We will implement it tomorrow, and tomorrow never comes. These 5 reasons is what I could understand when I was talking to all the people. All the people that I spoke of, some of them asked, sir, should I try it on the full organization or should I take a few of them and try it? Then others were there who were telling, sir, the pressure of the business is so high, revenue is not there. Under these circumstances, should I try something new? And then some of them were there who were telling that maybe things are not all that good, but then, we have been continuing like this. Under these circumstances, would it be wise to try something now, because there is an element of uncertainty about the business environment, what will happen. And then some of them felt that things have been working, let us continue with it like this for some more time. And many of them told me, sir, we will do it, we are just planning, we are still in the discussion stage. All in all, the message was only one: why rock the boat when things are not really all that bad? As it is, COVID has created a big problem. Why go and rock the boat? Today, I have come up with a solution which will answer all these questions for you. You will not have to rock the boat. And this uncertainty can be overcome very simply by implementing a few things. And let me assure you, you will start seeing results very, very soon. And the results will be amazing. Amazing results you will see by doing things which are very simple without rocking this boat. I am going to discuss with you 4 strategies which will ensure that without going out of the ordinary, you can implement employee engagement with your team and your company. Let us start. The 4 strategies to start the process. As we have seen during those 4 days, the first is to bring the management and the workers closer. We are going to discuss a strategy of how to bring the management and the workers closer. Because once the management and the workers come close, the workers and the management will start understanding each other better, and in the process create an emotional connect. And this emotional connect will not take much time to convert into an emotional commitment for the growth of the organization. One of the biggest problems in any company is the we and they syndrome. This we and they syndrome, the divide between the management and the workers, is a very big impediment for the growth of the organization. We will see today an example of how a company has overcome this and how you too can benefit out of implementing this in your organization with no risk, zero risk. Second, understanding the ground realities and instilling rules accordingly. We will try to understand what really is the meaning of rules in a corporate structure. How rules are framed, why rules are framed, and what do they do, and how understanding the ground realities and creating rules will ensure that you will be in a much better position to create engagement in the organization. Again, there will be no risk involved in it. That will be only a realization. The third, as we have always been talking, onboarding. That is, there is a saying that where should we begin? Always at the beginning. So you see, it all begins with onboarding. The moment we ensure that the onboarding is correct, the people are onboarded and brought into the company in the correct manner, immediately everything follows through. I'm sure all of us remember our first day in college. How eager, how enthusiastic we were, how much we were looking forward to it. And what sort of euphoria was that we were starting our college life. The same way, the first day in any company is a very important day. You are coming there to build a career. You are looking forward to it. And if on that day, we are given the correct onboarding, and the onboarding is continued till the moment when we are settled down and become a part of that society, we will definitely find that we will be committed towards the organization and we will be able to emotionally connect with it. And finally, this is one word, coaching. We will see how it plays an important role in this entire process of employee engagement. Let us begin with the first one, bringing management and workers closer. So friends, can you tell me, what does this image signify? What does this image tell you?
Ignition.
Huh?
Ignition.
Ignition. Who is it?
Guru Rajan, sir.
Yes, ignition. Yes. Anything else?
The image back.
Tell me.
Image of backside, sir.
Who is it? Just tell the name and then you tell. Okay, who is it?
Manikandan, sir.
Yes, Mr. Manikandan. Yes, anybody else?
Deepak Kalro here. It's just
Yes,
a
Mr.
matchstick which has been lit.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I'd love to give it a try, Dharmesh.
Yes,
here.
yes, Dharmesh. Yes, Dharmesh. Good
You
evening.
look at on that fire, you see that white portion on top, yeah?
Ah,
So it means that it's more hot at the edge of the fire.
ah.
And the
Something like that.
image is longer than the stick itself.
Okay.
One more thing, sir. So ignition, but the flame is not visible, sir.
Ah,
Due to the background.
You see, this is a beautiful, symbolic representation that unless the top ignites, the match itself is worthless.
Yeah.
You see, the top has to ignite and give out the energy and light. Only then the match has served its purpose.
Yes.
And what has happened? The light which has emanated from it has created the shadow. And you will see there is no difference in the shadow at all. It's all the same. Similarly, this employer-employee divide is a myth. There is no employer-employee divide. Barring the promoter of the company, every individual is an employee. And it is up to the topmost man to ignite and create that bridge between everyone. Today we are going to see among the top 10 companies in the world which have been adjudged to be the best place to work in. One of the companies is the Hilton Hotel Group. The Hilton Hotel Group is among the top 10 best places to work company. Not only that, it is the best place to work in the service sector, hospitality sector. What do they do? How do they break this divide between employer and employee? Can anyone give me an idea how such a huge hotel group, which has got hundreds of hotels spread across the globe, and which is the #1 hotel group in the world, how it is breaking this employer-employee divide? Has anyone got any idea? Can you think of it?
Recognitions.
Who is it?
I'm Guru Rajan from Madurai, sir.
Yes, Mr. Guru Rajan. Very good.
Sir, Ananda Krishnan,
Yes,
empowering
Mr.
empowering the employees.
Very good. Empowering employee. Anything else? Anybody else? Anyone else would like to take a guess? How do they break this divide between employer and employee? Because see, when I say employer and employee in a corporate context, my boss is my employer. For him, his boss is his employer. If this entire chain has to break, if everyone has to look at each other as equals, with dignity of labor. Yes, Dr. Darshana?
Stock pricing option, making the employees owner, giving them
Okay.
stake in ownership.
Excellent idea. Yes, Mr. Vinod, you want to say something?
Dharmesh, can I?
Yes, Dharmesh, tell me.
Is it by having a flat structure, more or less?
Flat structure, okay. This is one strategy which every company can adopt, whichever company it is. Let us move forward. Onboarding, yes. Good. Who is it?
And moreover, trusting.
Trusting.
Trust.
Excellent. Yeah,
Guru-
trust.
Yes, sir.
I could understand.
Guru Rajan from Madurai, sir.
Yes. Now let me show you what exactly this company does. Every quarter, irrespective of how high up in the hierarchy a person is, every manager, from CEO downwards, everyone will have to work for 3 days at the lowest possible level of the hierarchy. In one of the divisions, where whichever hotel it is, they will have to go and work. Let me show you examples. You see here Mark Way. Mark Way is a senior vice president, global operations, finance. What is he doing? He is baking bread in the Drake Hotel, Chicago. Can you see this? These photographs are from their website. He is baking bread And what is he? He is not a cook. He is not a chef. He is the Senior Vice President, Global Operations Finance. Now let us see the next one. Here is Michael Brown, Executive Vice President, Hilton Grand Vacation, Sales and Marketing. He is cleaning guest room at Hilton, Glasgow, Scotland. 3 days in a quarter. You might be sent to any hotel where people don't know you. You go there and do the lowliest possible job which is there in any of the department. Here you see Michael Brown tidying guest rooms. And what is he? He is Senior Executive Vice President, Sales and Marketing. Now, let us see the third one. Here is Jonas Neyhart, Senior Vice President, Government Affairs, works at preparing breakfast at Hilton, Beijing. And finally, here you have John Beutiger, Senior Vice President, Asset Management, cleaning toilet in Frankfurt, Germany. Tell me one thing. What will this do to the psychology of the people who are doing this job and the psychology of the people who are seeing them do it? First thing that will happen is all these senior people, they will start realizing and understanding the difficulties of the employees at the lowest level.
Yes, correct.
And all those employees who are at the lowest level who clean toilet, when they see a senior vice president coming and doing it, and he's in asset management. What does asset management got to do with cleaning toilets? Not only does this gentleman learn each and everything like this, you know, he will be going to various hotels once in 3 months and doing various jobs. So he will not only learn the nitty-gritties of all the jobs in the hospitality segment of Hotel Hilton, he will start appreciating the difficulties of each of those positions. And at every hotel, the people will see that there is no difference between John Beutiger and him. It will break this employer-employee divide and create a commitment between each other. This, gentleman, is something which all of us in our companies can do. There is nothing wrong. You know, there is something called dignity of labor. There is nothing wrong in an accountant having a few customers to talk to. There is nothing wrong in the salesperson having to work for 2 days in the finance department. There is nothing wrong in the works manager of a factory having to go and spend some time with the HR people 2-3 days working there, maintaining attendance, so that he will be able to appreciate why they are asking all these things. This way, this is another way of looking at job rotation, but not at that same level, but at the lowest level, so that you start appreciating what others are doing. And in the process, you can develop a connect between each other. Now let us go on to the next one. What does this picture signify? What do you understand from this picture? Yes. Any guesses?
A shark trying to following up a prey.
Okay. Yes. Mr. Deepak?
Try to catch up.
Huh?
Try to catch up.
Okay. Anyone else would like to take a guess?
A deep diver with the switch of the oxygen tank.
What is this which you are seeing, that green color thing?
It's clip, sir. Like clip, capturing the man for like crocodile.
This is a
Yes.
with which we hold paper, isn't it?
Yes.
And what is it doing? It is trying to swallow the man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Rules reflect your fears. And how does it reflect your fears? Just think of any rule that we have made. Why are rules made? Rules are made so that what we fear does not happen. We make a rule that people should arrive at the office at 9:30 because we are scared that if we let them come whenever they want, people will start walking in at their own convenience. What has happened today? Corona has ensured that nobody even needs to come to the office. We were always, rules always concentrate on output, never on the outcome. We have always been attacking output because of our fear that if we don't control, the outcome will not come. Rules reflect your fears. Try to understand that. And start concentrating on outcome. Now I will show you another picture. Do you know who this gentleman is? Can any one of you recognize him?
Yeah, CEO of Virgin Atlantic, Richard Branson.
Yes, Samay. 100% right. What do you see him doing? Richard Branson had gone for a meeting to Australia. There he found one of the executives sleeping. What do you think the CEO of the group would have done if he had seen a manager sleeping like this during office hours? Would any one of you want to guess? No one wants to take a guess?
Made a mockery of him.
Okay,
Obviously, he
then.
would have got reprimanded. Dharmesh here, yes, yeah.
Yes, then.
There would be warnings and whatever, yes, yeah.
Okay, anybody else?
Instead of that, sir, he didn't disturb his sleep. He understood his plight.
And what was his plight?
Maybe tiredness or not feeling well or whatever may be the reason. But the first, he didn't want, without knowing the reason, he didn't want to straight away fire.
Okay.
He has given some soft thing for his head, you know. He is sleeping in the sofa. So it is hard, you know. Something soft he has given to him, given to his head.
Okay.
That is the.
He's just expressing that the whole thing is a light affair. It's not anything much to think of. It's just amusement.
Okay, good. Let's move on. When he found this gentleman sleeping, he converted it into a photo op and took a photograph with him and put it on the website. It became a major issue. Next day, he called a meeting and this employee was expecting to be sacked. He went to the meeting. Richard Branson told everyone that when a person works very hard and is committed to his job, it is but natural that he should feel tired. And that it is not a crime to take a power nap of 20 minutes, 30 minutes, so that he gets rejuvenated. And from that day onwards, he brought in the rule that there is absolutely nothing wrong if you want to take a power nap during the day. And the pods came into existence. Most companies today, good companies, have sleeping pods in the office where people can go and take rest when they feel tired. You see, he understood the ground realities that a committed person can also feel tired and might need rest. This is what is meant by the sixth point which we discussed, in the strategy called consideration. This is something which we can all look into our organization and see which are the rules which are redundant and do away with it so that our group of employees, our team members can work with comfort and freedom. There must be lots of such rules which we can do away with. But it is only our fears which doesn't help us do that. Richard Branson did it. He made it comfortable for his employees. And today, following that, most of the companies have sleeping pods. Let us see the third one. What does this picture signify? Would anyone want to take a guess?
Sir, the colors are different, but
Like
the
rainbow,
levels are
sir.
same.
Huh?
Another question, sir. The colors are different, but the levels are same.
Okay.
Alignment of different people of different
Excellent,
level
Dr. Darshana.
with different goals.
Excellent. Excellent.
Positions.
Total
Different
alignment.
positions.
Alignment is the secret. Alignment is the secret of onboarding. We miss our boat when we don't get people onboarded properly. When the onboarding is done correctly, the person is totally in alignment with the organizational objective. And once that is achieved, we have seen when a set of balloons are left, they all fly away in different directions. But here you can see they are following a leader. Please. So you see, this onboarding is extraordinarily important. Let me tell you, this is a picture of a person, first day in college, how he must have felt extremely happy. Best practice in onboarding should make you feel happy like that. And one company has made onboarding such a special thing that it has become among the top 10 companies ranked in the best place to work. That company is L'Oreal. You know what it did? It got 50 of its new recruits together and got them to prepare, design a Fit Culture app. This Fit Culture app is an app which replies all queries and gives all direction to its employees who newly join, whatever they want to know. Everything, anything and everything about the company that they need to know, that they need guidance about, this app gives them. This app gives them the freedom to ask anything they want, and it gives them the authority to approach anyone they want and answers every question till they settle down. This is the level to which L'Oreal has taken the onboarding process, and the outcome is it has become one of the best places to work in among the top 10 companies. Friends, if we also take adequate steps to ensure that our new employees are given importance and they are onboarded properly, believe me, half the problem will not be there. I know of an instance where a very good company please keep yourself muted, all of you, so that there is no disturbance. You see, I know of a company, a very, very successful company, recently appointed a young boy in one of its departments. And this boy had access to the powers that be in the organization, up to the highest level. He has already been shifted 2 departments, and he has still not got his appointment order or his job description. He is working on a day-to-day basis. That means he goes to the office, whatever instruction is given to him, he does. Now tell me, what sort of a mental state will that boy be in? What will be his commitment to his organization? He doesn't know what he's supposed to do. He doesn't know where he is going to work tomorrow. He doesn't know what his career path is. And we expect commitment from such people. Can that happen? What stops us from ensuring that the onboarding is done in all seriousness? Because ultimately, you are one day going to give him the appointment order. You want him to become an, efficient boy. You want him to do a particular job well. Then why not ensure that we take the steps necessary to develop that sort of a character within him? Many companies have job descriptions just for the sake of it. They don't even know exactly what job a person is expected to do. They just paint a broad canvas and leave it. Who will fill the details? Because as someone rightly said, the devil is in the details, not in the broad canvas. If we cannot take the strain and the trouble to fill in the details, how can we develop a committed organization, a committed employee? This is something we need to really think about. Now, let us come to the next one. So, friends, take adequate care to ensure that the onboarding is done. You see, there is no rocking the boat in this. Are you going to be rocking the boat if you take the extra strain to onboard a new inductee into the company? No. You're going to ensure that the boat is stable. What does this picture signify? Any guesses? Yes, friends, any guesses as to what this picture is supposed to signify?
Different types of houses.
Hello?
House.
I'm unable to hear you properly anyway. Anyone else?
Can I say something? Deepak
Yes,
Kalro here.
Deepak ji, boliye.
All houses are different types. That is one observation. Other observation is 7 are at a ground level. 1 is raised higher.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Anybody else? Anyone else?
The antennas are different. Each one is having a different antenna.
Yes. You are absolutely right. You see, each house is different in its own way. Antenna is different, color of the house is different, shape of the house is different, structure of the house is different, doorways of the house are different, windows are, everything is different about each of them. But together they form a township. Similarly, all your employees are totally different from each other. They are not going to be the same. Each and every employee of the organization is unique in his own way. It is up to you to make them into one cohesive unit called a company. The company is not chairs and tables. It is different employees. And unless you create a social unit which ticks as one, where the heart beats as one, we cannot create an engagement. Now, let me ask you. This is the glue to keep them together. What is the glue to keep them together? We will see now. Have you ever, any of you, heard of what is this thing called an Infosys bubble? Has anyone heard this term Infosys bubble?
I guess the stock price shot up rather high in 2000s and 2001.
Has anyone heard of this thing called an Infosys bubble? What is an Infosys bubble?
No.
Yes, anyone knows? Infosys bubble is something like the Facebook, which is exclusive to Infosys. It is a social exchange platform. This allows the Infosys employees to follow colleagues, also post questions to colleagues, enable knowledge sharing. Has a notification system very much like Facebook, and user can like, share posts, employees can ask questions to colleagues they are following. In other words, it's a social platform unique only to Infosys employees. Has any one of you ever heard about it? There are 85,000 employees who are using this. The 85,000 employees of Infosys use this Infosys bubble, which binds them as one society. We can create such a platform within our organization also. Maybe we cannot create something like a Facebook, a platform like Facebook, but each company can create its own platform, maybe a Facebook platform or a newsletter or a monthly get-together or whatever it is, or a Zoom meeting, whichever way you want, so that, employees can relate to each other. The families of employees can relate to each other. The more you know a person, the more you like a person, the less likelihood there is that you will want to part from him. This socializing has paid Infosys in a very, very big way. So 4 of the strategies that we have seen till now. Number 1, senior managers and all managers can, by rotation, do the job of the person holding the lowest rank in the organization in various departments, so that they will be able to appreciate the work of the difficulties of various people. And when they see you do it, they can relate with you, and the company will start developing a cohesive culture. This is not a very big thing or a difficult thing for a company to start as a policy. Second thing is, do away with all the rules which are an impediment to freedom, to trust. Our fears should not be converted into a rule and thrust down the throat of others. What we want is good outcome. Let us concentrate on outcomes. The third is, whenever somebody new joins, let us give him the opportunity to be onboarded properly. Give attention to him so that he feels wanted. His requirements are addressed. His fears are addressed. Everybody operates on what's in it for me. Explain to him everything. Give him a mentor who will be able to guide him. And so that, he will be in a position to relate with the organization, his organizational objectives, and will be aligned with it. And finally, create an atmosphere conducive to all the employees of the company to interact with each other without fear, without discrimination, so that they become one cohesive unit. Now, friends, we come to a very, very important aspect of employee engagement. These are 4 things which we can definitely do. Now let us see. The last day, the 4th day, we saw 7 strategies, 7 drivers of employee engagement. The first was recognition. The second was empowerment. like, economic empowerment, political empowerment, social empowerment, cultural empowerment. Then we saw the feed forward, wherein, we are, focused more on what is to be done in the future, what all we are going to do, so that the postmortem is not done and we can move forward. And the fourth thing we saw, where we saw the Tata story of the terrorist attack. How many of you remember that? Can any one of you tell me what was the fourth one? Hello?
Sir, Rangaraj here. Partnering.
Yes, Mr. Correct. Partnering. And this is by far the most important, because what is partnering? Partnering is employee engagement. A commitment, an emotional commitment which you make towards the organization and assume ownership of the company. Partnering. Partnering on one side has recognition, empowerment, and feed forward. And on the other side, it has got expectations, consideration, and trust. It is a central point. Now, how do we create partnering in our organization? That's what we are going to see now. And that is where coaching comes in. Change is hard. And intentional change is even more so. Corona was hard. It was a change. It was a disruption of the environment. It was really hard. But now we are trying to do something even more difficult than that. That is, create an engaged organization, bring everyone into an emotional connect with the organization so that there is a commitment on their part towards the growth of the organization. This intentional change is going to require application from your side. Every company has got, we saw that at least 16% of the employees are engaged. That means every company has got a couple of people who are very engaged, who are emotionally connected. And you know who they are. Take them. And with them, continue and start the coaching process. We are going to be discussing 15 aspects of coaching. We might not be able to do all the 15, but believe me, if you can do a few of them properly, correctly, we will be making a giant leap forward. Output will never be 100%. If the input is 100%, the output, even if it is 70%, you will be far ahead of the game. So let us see, what is it that we have to do as a coaching? What does coaching entail? Coaching entails specific issues. Every organization has specific issues which it will need to address. And these issues will be common, created by all employees. A good coach brings specific and well-defined issues to the attention of people and shows them what is to be done in those cases. Select those people who are highly engaged, who want the good of the organization. Make them the coach, give them a few people, and ask them to address these people with specific issues concerning their areas. Second, preparation. More often than not, managers and powers that be seek information. They don't prepare each session with information, examples, and ideas. They start the discussion and then start gathering information. That is not the way to go about in coaching. In coaching, you have to do your homework, be ready with all the matters, and then you have to approach the person whom you are going to coach. So the person who is going to be assigned as a coach to drive the change will have to prepare himself. The third, treat those individuals as partners in the organization by encouraging their input and trusting them to carry out the assignments. This is the primary requisite for a feed forward. We are not going to be finding fault with what has happened in the past. We are going to be asking them about how they propose to arrive at the destination in the future, what plans they have, and what they think is required. 2 days back, Mr. Arun Chakravarti had put a video in the group. I'm sure most of you must have seen it. That is what the video was all about, as to how to continue a conversation, start a conversation and continue a conversation with the future in mind. The very first question in that video was, assuming you will be successful and you have everything, what is it you will be doing and how you will be doing it? That means the person is treating him as a partner and taking an input from him about the assignment which he has to carry out. Individual as partners. The more you treat individual as partners, your employees as partners, the more they will behave as partners. I'm sure you have all read that book by George Bernard Shaw, Pygmalion. A movie was also made of that book called The My Fair Lady. The hero of that book is Dr. Dolittle, a psychologist. He takes a challenge with a lord that he can convert a flower girl into a lady of the London society. They pick a flower girl as a candidate for that, and Dr. Dolittle starts working on her, and he converts her into such a lady that even the royalty start wooing her. At one stage, that flower girl, who is now a lady, falls in love with Dr. Dolittle. And the Lord asks her, why is it you are unable to impress him? She answers, you look at me as a lady, so you see me as a lady. But for Dr. Dolittle, I'm still a flower girl. So he sees me only as a flower girl. That means, my dear friend, what we look at others as is what they transform into. If you look at your employees as partners, give them the necessary, respect. Encourage them to come out with inputs as to how they can take the company forward, how they can achieve their assignments. Believe me, they will come up and do it. It is up to you to put that trust and faith on them. That is what coaching is all about. Believing that the person you are coaching can do it is how you make him great. Here I'm reminded of Mr. Acharkar, who was Sachin Tendulkar's coach. Sachin Tendulkar was the world's greatest batsman, a god of Indian cricket. And his coach, Acharkar, was a very ordinary cricketer. But believe me, Sachin Tendulkar was a product of Acharkar. Because Acharkar always believed that Sachin could become that. And he became that. Next, know the strengths and weaknesses of your team. Observe them in a very non-judgmental manner. And you will know what their strengths and weaknesses are and play to their strengths, not to their weakness. Most people who coach play to the weakness of the person. That is where the problem starts. Play to his strengths. And once his strengths become stronger, you can always guide him towards negating his weaknesses. Expectation. Make your expectation clear. Right at the beginning of the coaching session. What are your expectations? What do you expect as an outcome? And then move towards it. As I was telling, specific issues. Take only one issue at a time. Don't take too many issues. As we saw in the feed forward, you should plan each session for one particular issue. Until that issue is settled, don't go away from it. Don't move away from it. Give adequate time. Don't be in a hurry. Change requires time. People require time to develop the change that you want to see in them. Seek out ideas, help them, give you the ideas and make those ideas a part of the solution. Don't be judgmental. If someone tells you would like to do something this way, allow him to try it. The more you give him freedom to try what he wants, the more he will develop courage, the more he will develop commitment, because ultimately what we want is a committed employee. Nobody is perfect. We can't ever get a perfect employee. We can only get a committed employee. If the employee is committed towards the organization's growth and welfare, believe me, he will make mistake 10 times, but still he will not give up, and ultimately the organization will benefit. For commitment, we should not be judgmental. Listen to others and try to understand their points of view. As we saw in that picture, each house was different. Each color of the house was different. The antenna was different. The doors, windows, everything was different. Why the house? Let us look at our palm. All the 5 fingers are different. But it is those 5 different fingers which make a solid fist. We have to understand the points of view, the differing points of view, respect it, and allow the person the freedom to use those points of view to achieve his destination. Encourage with optimism. Both easy and difficult issues are discussed. Let us not be pessimistic that something cannot be done. Because you see, we are not going to be doing it. They are going to be doing it. They will have to do it. When they have to do it, when we are pessimistic, when we express our difficulty, our doubt about the person doing it, then he will become, we will be pulling him back. Let us not do that. Let him fall, let him get up. And only then he will be able to learn responsibility, appreciate accountability, and go and win the battle for us. You require every employee to pull his weight. Every position has a responsibility and accountability. If that person has to fulfill both, then we will have to encourage them to try, and we have to be optimistic and confident that he will be able to do it, however difficult or easy the situation and the job may be. Ask for commitment. Don't assume. Get a buy-in. Let the person say. People stand by what they say. There are very few people who say things they don't mean. Most people mean what they say. Allow him to commit. That commitment will bring the buy-in. Once that buy-in has come, provide him with all the resources, authority, and the training necessary to do the job. There can be nothing more demoralizing than asking someone to do something, taking a commitment from it, and then not providing the arms and ammunition with which he can do it. Just imagine, how would you feel if you are recruited in the army, trained for battle, and then sent to the Pakistan or China border without any gun and any bullets? How will you feel? Will that make any sense? So you see, we need to give them the resources, we need to give them the authority, and we need to give them the training necessary for them to carry out the job that they have to do. That is part of coaching. It is your responsibility as a coach to ensure that you appreciate the armamentarium which they require to face up to these things. Offer the support and assistance, those he and she is coaching, to help them implement the change and achieve their desired role. Give them the support, give them the assistance. Whenever they have a doubt, whenever they require seek a clarification, whenever they seek an explanation, give it to them, but don't go and do the job. Let them do it. They might fall 10 times, doesn't matter. Let them learn to get up after falling. But you always assure them that you are with them, be with them, and offer them the support, the moral support, the psychological support, the intellectual support. But physically, they have to do the job that they have to do. Follow up on the coaching session in a timely fashion. Never end a coaching session without the next session being scheduled. Follow it up. Define alternate solutions if a particular solution has reached a dead end. Cut your losses. Don't keep chasing solutions which are impractical. But don't write them off as impractical right in the beginning. When a solution is offered, the person who is offering the solution must definitely be giving you reasons to believe that he can do it. Allow him to try, and at a stage when you find that the solution is not working out as expected, proactively suggest alternate actions, discuss them, and take them to fruition. And finally, all this should be done in a spirit of mutual respect. I know, friends, it's going to be very difficult to remember all these. Don't worry, I will be giving you the recording of this program. If you can follow a few of these also, you will be taking a giant leap forward. The first is ensure that the divide between the management and the worker is, bridged in your organization or your team. Second, do away with all those rules which are redundant. Understand the ground realities. There was a time when work from home was frowned upon by many companies. People who used to come half an hour late or 1 hour late used to be reprimanded. Corona has come and proved to everyone that there is nothing wrong in working from home. The third is ensure that your employees are onboarded properly from the first day they join you. Spend time on them. They are there to do your work for a full lifetime. Can't we spend a few hours, a few days ensuring that they are onboarded properly so that they can serve us throughout our life? A small investment in the beginning will ensure gigantic results throughout our life. Fourth, ensure that the employees of our company are united as one society. They integrate by socializing with each other without distinction of caste, creed, culture, position, or intellect. If they all identify with each other and emotionally connect, you will have a powerful team. And for all these things, find out those few people who are committed for the organization, assign them a few to begin with, and start coaching them on these 15 principles. I'm sure you will be well on your way to implementing employee engagement in your organization. Thank you, friends. I'm open. If any of you want to share your experience of the last 27 days or any question is there, I am ready to answer. Yes.
Yeah, I have a very
for questions.
I have a very general question.
Please.
Yeah. So
who is it? Who is it?
Yeah, I'm Samyak.
You are?
Samyak.
Oh yeah, Samyak. Yeah, tell me.
So would you agree that we Indians are largely status driven? So the way we live like misers our whole life, and the way we spend in our marriages and the way we treat our domestic help. When I compare to the West, I don't think they are status driven. So how are they different from us? You talked about the Hilton Hotels example. You know, the top brass ready to do the very lowly jobs, and it requires a certain attitude.
Very good question, Samayak. I do not agree with you that we Indians are status driven. Humans are status driven. Okay. It is not a question of Indians or Europeans or Americans. For one Hilton hotel where the top management or the entire management team goes and does all sorts of work all over the hotels, there are hundreds of hotels where this is not done. Do you agree with me on that?
Yeah, but I'm saying in relative
you
terms.
See, let us not look at all those people who are not doing something. Let us learn from those people who are doing something good and do it in our organization and our team. See, we want to benefit, right, Samayak? Or do we want to give reasons as to why we are like this? There can be 1,000 reasons for not doing something, but there can be only one reason for doing it, and that is to benefit all of us.
Right.
When our organization becomes an engaged organization, we benefit, our employees benefit, our customers benefit. That's why we started a company, didn't we?
Yes.
See, we joined a company so that we can grow in our career. If our company is an engaged company where every employee is engaged, the company will grow, and with it we will also grow. When we grow, our family grows, our friends grow, our children grow. We contribute towards everyone. You see, there can be 1,000 reasons for not doing something correctly, but there can be only one reason for doing something correctly. That is our personal benefit. Let us look only at that. Do you get what I am telling, Samayak? You see, there are 1,001 good things about us which are absent in the foreigners in the Western society. There are 1,001 good things about Western society which is absent in Eastern society.
Yes, I agree.
Let us take whatever is good. You see, I have given you 4 examples. Right? Now, this socializing which Infosys has started with this Infi bubble is not present in Hilton Hotel. Maybe, in some program that they must be telling, you see, they are all very social, we are not. And that is also true in a way. Because we Indians, we always respect our parents, we respect our family members, we are very close-knit. But do you find that in the foreign society? So you see, there are good and bad everywhere. Let us not bother about it. My only suggestion is let us take all those things. See, the object of this program today is to see how we can kickstart engagement in our respective organizations and team without rocking the boat. Supposing, let us say, I am a marketing manager of a company. If I were to decide that I am going to go and do the job of a sales representative for 2 days in a month, nothing wrong in it. I get to understand what are the problems he is facing in the market during this COVID situation. So you see, let us all try as far as possible to bridge this gap. If I am the managing director of a company, there is nothing wrong in my deciding that my accounts manager should have a few key accounts in the sales department. I can call him and say, some of these people you go and handle. Let him also understand what the problems are. So many places I have seen sales team, having problem with accounts team or finance team. They complain, our expense statement has been cut, this has done, that has been done. All those things happen, don't they? Will those things happen if these people were also exposed to the problems of the sales team? Or will the sales team, out of hand, reject the opinion of the accounts of the finance team if they knew the difficulties they face? So you see, once we do this, automatically, there is cohesion within the organization. People start appreciating each other's difficulties, and a better engagement starts. Yes, anyone else? I hope you found the answer satisfactory, Samayak.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you.
Can I say something, Arunji?
Yeah,
Deepak Kalro here.
Yeah.
Enjoyed so far whatever info you gave us. It's adding on to earlier what you have given us. And I really did enjoy it thoroughly and understood most of it. I have a few problems, like my staff through the years has been getting more and more indisciplined. Now I understand that from your conversation that the rules are not really very important. But I feel quite a few rules have to be there, because if the customers are there and the staff is not there to attend to them, business would suffer, customers will be angry. And so for that, discipline to that extent at least is very important, that they should come on time and be available to serve the customers. And not only that, also how to bring about changes of people not doing things on time, not remembering. How can I start at bringing those changes? The certain defects, how can they be slowly rectified?
You're absolutely right, Deepak ji. You are a very, very senior person. The amount of experience you have got, is unimaginable. You have got huge experience. You have built a big empire, and it would be, impertinent on my part to say certain things. But having said that, since you have asked this question, that is the saying, you can take a horse to water, you can't make him drink it. Rules are something like forcing a horse to drink water. The first question the first statement you made was, when a customer comes, if people are not there to attend to him, they will feel angry. True. But do you think such a thing will happen if you were there in place of that employee? You would definitely attend to that customer, even at this age. Am I right?
True. Yes.
Why? Because you feel a sense of ownership to the organization.
True.
You feel committed to the organization.
True.
Why is it that the employee is not feeling committed to the organization? Why is he not feeling that ownership? Maybe because, he has not yet understood, or he has not yet emotionally related himself to what he is doing.
True.
I'm not saying it is the leadership's fault. I'm not saying whose fault is it. I'm not going to be judgmental. But the only way forward is to help him emotionally connect with the organization. There is no other way out. You see, let us assume that we force him to come on time. He comes on time. You are not going to be there to see how he is behaving with every customer. Which is better? An employee misbehaving with the customer, or an employee not being there when the customer comes?
Employee not being there would be better.
So you see, now, so you see, we want an employee there. We want an employee who will think this is his company. We want an employee who will give the service to that customer the way you would have given had you been there.
True.
So here, rules have got nothing to do with it. Do you have any rules as to how you should be behaving when you are in your office? No.
No.
Then why is it that your behavior is at its best and that employee's behavior, who is covered with all the rules, is not at his best?
Attitude. You got me right. You corrected me right. Good idea. So I had to work at the basics of.
Yes, that's why coaching is necessary. That is why coaching is necessary.
Good.
You see, we need to be able to appreciate that our employees are the owners of the company. The company will grow only to the extent that the employees want it to grow.
Agreed.
That's what commitment is all about. Deepakji, you must be having a couple of people who are very, very, committed in your organization.
Yes.
Take those people, create a team, and get them to coach others. You see, a coach need not necessarily be an expert. Acharkar can never enter into the Indian team, but he created Tendulkar. So he need not be the best batsman in the world to create another best batsman. He needs to be a good human being, a committed human being who wants the good of the person he is coaching, who is concerned about the person he is coaching, and who is sincere in his intentions towards the person he is coaching. And if you follow these 15 points, I can assure you one thing. Definitely you will be able to achieve what you want. You might not be able to follow all the 15 points. You might be able to follow only 3 or 4, but do that. Make a beginning.
Yeah, good. I will do. I will. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
No, you're the sir today. I'm behind you, well behind you.
Yeah. Anyone else? Any other questions?
Arun.
Yeah, yes, Mr. Mohan.
Arun, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Tell me.
Yeah, Arun, I wanted to pass on some of my views based on the concepts that were discussed today.
Now tell me.
One is primarily based on my own experiences. The other is more recent experiences from what I learned from my daughter. Okay.
Oh, great.
Now, so
the child is the father of man.
Yeah, of course. The first one is really about when you said about the ending is about creating committed employees and make them as coaches. And before that we had 4 points. There are totally 5, and it ended with bringing people and making them as an effective coach. Yeah.
Yes.
Now I feel that the number 3, which is the day 1 in which the onboarding, the employee comes and where you are supposed to greet and meet the employee with a great vigor, with a great wishes and all that, is something has been miserably absent. Not only in a small organization, medium organization, even in large corporations. Okay. Now I feel that this number 3 should have been number 1. I'm not saying in terms of, I'm not coming to the point of prioritizing that, but somehow I feel that that first day the impact is long lasting.
Absolutely.
And it's also guiding. All right. Now, one is, let me jump on to the experience that my daughter had in one of the large MNC. Yeah. Now, what happened? This MNC is also known for excellent onboarding processes. And also, as you rightly said, the Infosys had the bubble. But this organization also has a vast social media intranet within the organization, where they can easily, in fact, they can go to the extent of, selling and buying articles through that. Now, having said that, she joined the company, and then the first day, I'm sorry to take some time out, but I thought it would be
please,
relatable to all the participants here. Yeah. So the first day this girl joined, and I felt that there is a very inadequate preparation by the company. When I say company, it's the managers, the immediate manager or the supervisor who need to guide her. And it's totally unprepared. HR was unprepared. And she was designed to go into a project, and within 6 hours of time, there was another information coming that, no, you are not assigned to this project. And when she raised a question, no, this is something, the HR, you have to go and ask the HR. Now, despite of all the induction trainings and all the information about the companies given, end of the day, an employee is looking forward to work in a role and in an activity. And if that role and activity itself has been not clearly spelled out right from the beginning, what will the employee think about the company? Be it in any big company, it doesn't matter. Now, what I'm saying is, when people are looking forward to greet a person first day, let them do the 100% homework and do that properly.
Absolutely.
I think this is a very important thing.
You're absolutely right. You see, there can be no excuse. There can be absolutely no excuse. The onboarding is by far the most important. As I said, where should you begin? At the beginning. Employee engagement should begin from the day the person joins an organization, period. You're absolutely right, Mohan. Thank you. Thank you for your input. Yeah, anyone else? Does anyone have any experience of these last 27 days which he or she would like to share with us?
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Manikandan.
Sir, actually, we almost we discussed about all the things, sir. There will be delivering shortly, sir. Thank you.
I know. We had a discussion with you, Mr. Murugan and Mr. Suresh, your directors.
Yes, sir.
Now, what I want to know, is there anything you would like to share with the group in terms of your experience of what happened and what you tried?
I discussed later, sir.
Oh, sure.
Arun, Mohan here again. If you can permit me, just a quick opinion. When I worked in Europe, the simple reason that when we go into an organization, the manager not only talks about the role and organization, but he takes me down the corridor, explains me where the important facilities are there, right from coffee table to the cafeteria to the toiletries, everything he will explain. But I'm not seeing that happening, not that from a customer or a customer and a service delivery kind of a relationship. I feel that it's also important for a employee who is joining for the first time. Somebody senior in the organization should handle them into understanding what the facilities are. In fact, I see that from a psychological point of view, it shows that the organization in the form of a manager is really taking care of that person, about his safety, about his health, about his location. So that gives a kind of a tremendous association with the organization.
Yes.
Thanks, Arun.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Dharmesh here.
Yes, Mr. Dharmesh.
Yeah, I mean, I hope I am able to narrate, would be in a position to narrate it. See,
please.
While, the employee onboarding is good in some of these organizations, or in the one that I worked earlier. But what I found is, okay, the boarding is very good, onboarding is excellent. But after some time, how do you maintain the company, when the employee gets about, he's done about 10, 20 years in the company, and then the company is trying to discourage him. Although he's a good resource, not everybody can become a CEO, not everybody can become top managers in the company, but he's still working at some level in the organization. I'm still saying at some level, means in the mid level or a senior level in the organization. But then once he has crossed his 50 years of age, and the company tends to discourage him. Now, is it not costing the company, or is there any other way that the company can still maintain his encouragement till the last day?
You see, Mr. Dharmesh, I can tell you only one thing. Every employee is an asset. If you have allowed an employee to get into a position where he requires to be discouraged, it is not the fault of the employee, but the fault of the people above him. You see, if a person has, if you have kept a person in your company for 15 years or 20 years, obviously he has produced for the organization. That's why you have kept him. You have not done any charity towards him. And you see, he has contributed 20 years of his life to your organization. If
The audio is
he
breaking.
was not good enough for your organization, or him.
There's an audio issue suddenly in between, I guess.
What can be the reason that suddenly you... Hello?
Yeah,
Uh,
now it's
Arun,
clear. I
your-
think there was an
Arun, your
audio
voice is
break in
breaking.
between.
Can you hear me?
Can you repeat if I'm not bothering you?
Now is it okay?
No, it's still breaking, I guess. Yeah. I asked the question at the wrong time.
Am I audible?
Yeah, now it's audible. I guess it continues. The continuity is not there, I think. Yeah. Try, give us your answers. I mean, your viewpoints, and let's see how it goes. Yeah. Yeah, the audio, there is an issue, I think. Yes. Yeah. Now it's connecting, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, it's not. Audio is broken.
Arun, unmute. Arun.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's okay, sir.
Yeah. So you see, as I was telling Mr. Dharmesh, you see, a person has been in the organization for 15 years and then suddenly the company decides that, he is not required. I think that is the reason why we have so much of disengaged people in the organization. You see, engagement does not necessarily mean that you should keep on promoting a person. Engagement only means that you ensure that the person is satisfied with doing whatever he is doing. He knows he is contributing to the organization. He is recognized for his contribution and he is rewarded for whatever he is doing properly. That's all. Everyone cannot become a CEO, nah? As you rightly said. But then that does not necessarily mean that we need to disrespect someone or push that person down.
Yeah, so I think you must have some kind of program, especially for these bigger companies where people have stayed for over 10, 20 years, and how to address these retrenchment. Although they are good resources, they leave the company and obviously they get a better job as a CEO in some other company. But then, there could be some way as to, instead of showing the disrespect to these people at that age, some measures, where you can train the top management as to how to, encourage, retrenchment, or how to encourage, employees at that age to leave the company in a nice way.
Yeah, parting has to be, need not be bitter. People can always part as friends, accepting the contribution the individual has made towards the growth of the organization, and wish the individual all the best in his future endeavors. Yes, Mr. Dharmesh. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'm done. Yes, yeah, you said it right.
No, you're absolutely right. It is very disappointing, Mr. Dharmesh. You're absolutely right. Many cases, things have happened like that. Mostly it happens like that only. People start off with great enthusiasm and then somewhere along the way, they plateau, their career plateaus. And then, it is all downside for everyone. A very sad state of affairs.
No, on this point, can I say something, though I don't have much experience about companies?
Please.
Could it be so that the person has outserved, not outserved, he has stopped serving his purpose? He may not have changed with time. The company may have different ideas about that role.
You're absolutely right, Mr. Deepak. You see, the thing is, I'll tell you, you see, we all grow in age. The younger generation will always think that we have outlived our purpose and that, we are not pulling our weight. But is it true? You see, is it not the responsibility of the management to ensure that the person is given an opportunity to develop himself in the direction which the organization wants him to develop? Is it the responsibility of the employee to develop himself? Is it not the responsibility of the so-called employer to give the opportunity and the support for the person to develop himself? You see, this is both sides, as much as the employee. See, when I use the word employee, employer, I am not talking about promoter and the people who are working. I'm talking about boss and subordinate. If I am the boss for someone, I am also someone's subordinate. As much as it is the responsibility of my subordinate to make himself available for development, it is also my responsibility to develop him based upon my understanding of what his job requirement is. It's a two-way street. It cannot be a one-way street. An employee engagement will be good in an organization only when every individual understands what he required to contribute to the organization. An organization is a group of people. Organization is not table and chair. You see, every employee together constitutes the company. So if each person understands his responsibility towards the development of the other and gives him the requisite support and guidance in that direction, then I think this will not happen. You see, the ideal situation will never be there. There will always be disgruntled elements in every organization. There will always be people who will be more committed. There will always be people who will be less committed, more motivated, will want to try to build their castle on somebody's grave. That type of people will also be there. That's what a company is all about. But our endeavor should be to ensure that we increase the number of committed people more and more so that we can have an organization where instead of 16%, at least there is 32% of engaged employees. If we have a higher degree of engaged employees, we will have a highly productive organization. Very, very highly productive organization. Because you see, no disruption, no corona, no recession, nothing can come in the way of a person who is determined to succeed. Nothing can come. You will find out ways. And you see, if you are a committed person, you will find out ways for your organization to grow. I know of hundreds of instances, even during this COVID period, when people have turned the table on the situation and ensured that their organization flourishes. We require such people. You see, when the company does not have such people, the company has problems. One man alone, that is the promoter alone, cannot do anything, Deepakji. This is a fact. However much you may be committed to build your organization, however brilliant you may be, however resourceful you may be, however innovative you may be, you cannot do anything alone. You require your team. And a committed team can make all the difference.
Agree. True, correct.
So there is no way out. There is no point in, rationalizing why they are not doing, why this is like this, why that is like that. There is only one thing that we can do, that is put our best effort to ensuring that our people are emotionally connected with the company. There is this saying, people buy emotion and justify that purchase by intelligence.
True.
So, you see, if you can ensure your people are emotionally connected with you, they will find out 1001 intelligent reasons why they are committed.
True, correct. Yeah, why purchasing or buying anything? It applies to even marrying.
Everything.
Making relationships, making friendships.
No, I will
It
not
applies
say
to
anything.
yeah.
I am at home. My wife is in the other room. I don't want to get into trouble.
Mr. Arun,
Yes.
another question.
Yes, tell me.
I just want to quickly share my experience, and you have to give me your expert opinion, not judgmental. With the service award has been given the earlier company 5 years, 5,000, 10 years, 10,000 like that. When I got the 20th year 20,000 award, everybody gathered. The MD said, "Shall I give a talk?" He said, "I motivated all the employees. All should get like me. You stay with the organization, grow and all." After I come out, a few young general managers, executives, they gossip behind me. So still 20 years, the same company. You're in the same company for 20 years, as if I don't know any other opportunity to go out and work for some other company. And some of the people talk intelligently. I used to skip every 4 years, 20% from that I get. Now see the fourth company, my salary has been doubled. Like that, people have been speaking. It was little bit demotivating. But what do you feel about these people's mentality?
Please go back to the introductory program which I had conducted.
Right.
Where I had asked the difference between motivation and engagement.
Correct.
Motivation is always directed towards oneself. I had also shown you in that graph between motivation and engagement the example of the lone wolf, who is highly motivated,
right,
who wants to get ahead at any cost, who will do anything to get ahead, and he will, leave the company and move on when the opportunity comes for him, for his personal growth.
Correct.
Now, a highly motivated person can only become a highly committed and engaged person because engagement, highly engaged employees are also highly motivated employees. If the organization is unable to convert that motivation into engagement, whose fault is it, Mr. Ananthakrishnan?
Absolutely, it is organization.
Then what do you want me to say?
There are, because those days, as you remember, people used to join and retire in a company, job permanent, Gegi, like
Well,
that.
even
Nowadays,
today it happens in government jobs. But you really, you mean to tell me that people are happy in government jobs? There are people who are also happy in government jobs.
Correct.
So you see, there is nothing like, it is all individual, and it is the effort taken by the company. Company means what? Group of people having come together with a superordinate goal in front of them.
Correct.
It could be the Indian Railways, or it could be Jet Airways. Both are, a group of people having come together with a superordinate goal in front of them. So you see, it is mandatory on the part of the leadership to ensure that its team is committed. I know of lots of great leaders, even in government jobs, who have done a great job with their team.
you're right. Even very difficult to implement in government department, at least private company.
See, the only question you should ask yourself when these people talk like this is, are you satisfied with what you did? That's all.
Definitely.
That's all. That is the only important thing. What is not important is whether you are in a company for 20 years, whether you are recognized every 5 years, whether, none of those things are important. Did you enjoy going to the office every day? Did you look forward to going to the office the next day? Are you enthusiastic about what you are doing?
Right. So fitting question. Correct.
That
will
tell you.
Yeah, correct.
That will tell you whether you are engaged or not. Because if you are emotionally committed towards performing, then fine. Yes, Dr. Darshana?
Yes.
Can you unmute and speak?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, what I wanted to ask is a hypothesis which I recently have come across, and I just wanted to seek your opinion on how far it is correct. So it was about highly engaged employees may not necessarily be innovative, and vice versa, less engaged employees tends to be innovative at some instances. Is it possible, sir?
See, innovation and engagement are two entirely different things. Engagement is an emotional commitment towards an organization and the organization's growth. Innovation requires a different type of expertise. You see, innovation is what is innovation? Innovation is bringing different things together to create something new. That is innovation. Innovation can be in the process. Innovation can be in terms of product. But what has that got to do with engagement?
Sir, like I just want to understand, it was even said by you in the 4 days workshop that engaged employees tends to be more innovative, they tend to be higher performer. So in that context, what is the contribution of these kind of employees who are engaged very well to the long-term sustainability or succession of business?
I don't know about my having said that innovation, engaged employees are more productive. Yes, productivity is directly connected to engage, because you see, an engaged employee will only be think about what is going to be the output for the organization. So he will not give up. He will be consistent. But I don't know about having said that they are more innovative. Innovation is an entirely different thing altogether. Yeah, they could be more creative. They could try to think of new ways of doing things.
Yes, sir. That is what you said. So
That is possible. But innovation is entirely different, Darshanaji. Innovation, as we understand, is an entirely different thing. Yes, there could be very less engaged employees who are very innovative also. There could be. There could be highly engaged employees who are not innovative. They might be doing routine work with great dedication. They might not look for better ways of doing something. They might not be risk takers, because those are a different type of attitudes.
Yes, sir.
You understand what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The innovation is totally a different subject, is an area.
Sir, mentoring, coaching, the right work culture, can't this promote both these things? Can there be a bridge between engagement to innovation?
But why do you want to bridge those two? What is the reason you want to bridge innovation with engagement? See, there is absolutely no necessity to bridge this and that. Innovation is an intellectual activity. Engagement is an emotional activity.
But sir, majority of the time when the organization counts on the success, longevity of the business, financial growth, they look more into innovation and they are less concerned about engagement, doing something for their employees like coaching, mentoring.
No. That would be a wrong conclusion to come to, Darshanaji, for the simple reason. An innovative person, when he is engaged, he can take the company through the roof. See, what is innovation? Innovation is creating a blue ocean. Traditionally, businesses are run in red ocean, where commoditization is the rule. You bring a product, within 3 months, there are hundreds of clones of that product. Now you see, an engaged employee can give you the necessary impetus to work through the competition and sustain the company. Let us assume you have got an innovative employee also who is highly engaged. Now you see, he will focus his energy, channelize his energy towards developing something which will be totally out of the box and will take the company out of the red ocean into the blue ocean. That will be a huge thing for the organization.
Yes, sir.
But then please understand, innovation is an intellectual activity. It is not an emotional activity. Engagement is not an intellectual activity, it's an emotional activity. You're voluntarily, emotionally committing yourself to an organization. See, what does the heart say?
That is what I was about to ask. Can
The
there
heart
be a
and the
connection
brain
between
will
heart
never
and
go
brain?
together.
Okay.
Let us be sure about that. The heart and the brain don't go together.
Okay, not even in context
The
of
brain says, what's in
organization.
it for me?
Yes, sir.
See,
So that is
supposing,
what I
like,
said.
I gave the example of the person being in the ship when it has caught fire, right? The brain will say, stop acting like a fool and standing here, jump into the lifeboat. Will it not say that?
Yes, sir.
But what will the heart say? Heart says, no, my wife and children are here. I will not leave them and go. Correct or not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, which is going to win?
Here the heart will win.
You really do not know. Depends upon that person.
Okay. How much engagement, emotions he has with these two people?
Yes. So you see, the heart and the head will not go together. They will always be at war with each other. And the company requires both. But if you can bring them both together, if you can have an innovative person, a creative person who is also emotionally engaged with the organization, you have hit the jackpot.
Yes, sir.
But in the absence of that, the best thing is at least have people who are emotionally connected with you.
Yes, sir.
That way, you know, by sheer labor, they will pull the organization through. Like Mr. Ananthakrishnan was telling, the youngsters were telling, 10 years this guy has been here. Something must be wrong with him. I don't think he got a job somewhere else. You see, that is motivation talking about engagement.
Yes, sir.
And they are the dangers. You know, they'll keep changing companies and they'll keep putting the company in soup. Because
But
you will
sir,
invest
at
on
many
them.
point of time, we see people coming from the different companies as they are sweeping from one company to another company. They develop a bargaining power, and at times, in their tenure of 20 years, they are earning quite high than what an engaged employee has given for 20 years to the company and what salary he is getting. This is
Now,
also a hard
why is
reality.
this happening? Now, that is why it is happening is because the leadership does not understand the concept of engagement properly. Who will you pay more? The person who will ditch you in crisis or the person who will stand by you in crisis?
And at times, sir, what I have observed is such people who are jumping from one company to another company, having lack of commitment, they are given more better, superior portfolio. At times, a portfolio which is there with this 20-year-old employee is being taken and it's given to this new person. And all of a sudden, after 3 years, this person also goes. So that is something which is affecting, that in spite of being dedicated, doing it well, it was rewarding, it was showing a better performance, and still it was given to somebody.
This is the reason, Darshanaji, why 84% of the people are disengaged. You know, during that 4-day course, we saw in one instance,
yes, sir.
You know, there was an example of a person coming late. And, you know, at that time I had told, you can't get a behavior by rewarding the negative behavior, you can't get the positive behavior. When the person, you call a person, and the instance was that a person was coming late, the HR calls and wants the person, says that we will not accept it, you should come in time. 2 days, the person comes in time, we don't tell anything. 3rd day, the person again, when he comes late, we call him and reprimand him. But what we should have done, when the person had come on right time, if we had appreciated him, The third day would not have come on wrong time. By focusing on the wrong behavior, you can't get the right behavior. When we focus on the wrong behavior of rewarding a person who has left the company in 2 years and come and joined you and giving greater salary, what you are telling him indirectly, that you leave me and go in 2 years, you will get more salary in another company. You have yourself told him that, then why he will not go?
And apart from that, he will create that particular thought process in the other
Yes.
employees who are there. He will disturb the entire culture.
Yes, absolutely. You see, it is something like this. Supposing somebody comes and tells you something bad about another person. Let us assume the person comes and gossips something bad about that person with you. What is the first thing which will come in your mind?
In my mind, it will be like if you are complaining about him, you're gossiping about him. The moment you will leave from here to somebody else, you will be doing the same to me.
Correct. Absolutely, 100%. So you see, what should we do? When that thing happens, stop him immediately. Tell him, don't talk to me about all these things. It's not relevant. Please talk to me about what you want to discuss about me. Don't discuss someone else with me.
Sir, in that case, the peer circle hygiene factor is something that employee is missing, because
Yes.
nobody want a person who's not listening to the gossip. You have to listen both.
No. What they see, the moment they know that this lady will not encourage gossip, it will stop.
They will stop, but
The behavior we reward will be repeated.
like they will stop, but what will happen is, as you don't gossip, you don't take the things lightly, you don't encourage them to come and speak to you about every bullshit, you lose the connect. I mean, you don't have the peers, you don't have those colleagues, you don't have this bonding, because you're very selective in terms of listening to the people.
Tell me one thing, which would you prefer?
I am preferring, and I have been.
Just let me complete the question.
Sure, sir.
10 cobras or 1 lamb?
1 lamb, sir.
Then why are you worried about all these
Yes,
things?
sir.
You see,
Yes.
I'll tell you one thing, Darshanaji. Walking the straight path is very difficult, but it has got its rewards. I'm not telling that you have to be an ideal person and, never you will was. That is also not going to happen. There will be times when we will also gossip. But let us consciously make an effort not to. It will create much more lightness in us, and it will make our life that much more comfortable. And in our, professional circle, slowly you will develop a respect.
Yes, sir.
And people will start gravitating towards you who are not like that. Like they say, birds of the same feather flock together. Like attracts like. And if in the process you lose a few of so-called friends who believe in gossiping, it's a good thing, na?
Yes, sir. You preserve a lot of energy.
Yes. You see, in a glass full of milk, how many drops of sewage water is required to spoil it?
True, sir. Even 1 drop.
One drop is enough. So why pour that drop in it?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Welcome, ma'am. Anyone
Thank you,
else?
sir.
We are into 8:45.
Yes, sir. Arun, sir.
Yes, ji, Deep ji, bataiye.
The chat which ma'am was continuing, I wanted to say one thing, that this behavior and the forms of organizations like centennials or millennials, these people are not only leaving the job after 1 or 2 years, but the companies are also going for contract jobs. They are also taking the jobs like the IT companies.
Yeah.
They are also getting the jobs which are contractual or for a fixed period of time in the nature. And that is why they are also appointing the people for a particular project term. And after the term is over, their job is also gone. So the way the forms and organization shapes are changing, structures are changing. Likewise, this employment pattern is also changing.
No, yeah, contingent teams are, contingent pools are, forming, and going forward, Dr. Deep, that is going to be the trend.
Yeah.
That contingent pool is going to be a very big trend. People are going to be availing of the services of these contingent teams, so that their burden can reduce. Small companies need not appoint high-paid people. Where a person can come and do your work once in a week and give you the result. You pay him much less.
Yeah.
You see, I know many companies who have appointed consultants as marketing heads, as, for accounts. There are companies, which have a person coming for once in a week and updating the accounts and going away. They pay only 1/10 of what they used to pay. So you see that it makes a lot of sense also, na?
Yeah. That person is also employed at so many places.
This is a strategy for disruption proofing your company with labor problems.
Yeah.
See, disruption proofing is a major strategy in organizations, and disruption proofing is very essential because, with labor unrest and other things becoming so rampant.
Yeah.
So anybody else? Should we call it a day then?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I'll request all of you to try and implement employee engagement on the lines that we have discussed. And if there is any clarification that you require, please feel free to call me up. I am always available to you. Okay?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I had just one part.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes.
You have devoted yourself, in terms of more than what we have paid you, I would say.
Hey, they don't think of all those things.
No, really. I don't think any coaching or any, I know some of these foreign companies are also importing similar program and they charge some 2-3 lakhs.
Yeah.
And most of them are like, beekeepers and plumbers who are actually parting these programs. When I looked into one of these profiles, and he said, I'm a beekeeper in New Zealand and I've been with this for the last 20 years. And I said, oh my goodness, I wouldn't want to learn from a beekeeper. And they charge you huge money and they call that as a brand value. And, anything less than what they charge is not worth it. And, it's a total empty thing. Don't get lured. My advice to all of you who are here, don't get lured by these overseas programs. Most of them are all empty vessels. Thank you so much, sir. It's from my own experience.
Thank you.
Devoted so more than what we are paid for.
We will be meeting again next month.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, sure. Thank you. And when are you next?
Thanks all
Yes,
participants. Thank you.
And when is the next program, sir? You said you are also doing something else.
Yeah, I am going to be giving a program on value proposition.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, wonderful.
How to build a value proposition, how to create, value messaging.
And when is that likely to be?
It will be somewhere around in the end of November.
Okay.
Because I'm already giving that in other places. Once that schedule is complete, I will bring it here.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I would love to be part of it immediately.
Definitely. I will let you all know about it.
Thank you.
It will be again 3 to 4 days program.
Wonderful.
And it will be quite a lengthy program I am planning to explain it through nearly 50 examples of value proposition from various parts of the world.
Oh, I really look forward to it.
Yeah, we will.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Really contributing to the education of the re-education of the the white collared professionals, I would say.
Thank you, Dharmesh.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Good night, folks.
Good night, sir. Thank you.
Bye.